pleasure to be here this evening as we prepare for the very important meeting that the administrator has already signaled. Now, as the acting director of the National Science Foundation, I'm responsible for a variety of tasks encompassed by the congressional mandate for the foundation. That mandate to promote the progress of science, to advance the national health, prosperity, and welfare. No small set of responsibilities. A little bit about what, in a way, I came into this role. I actually came to the National Science Foundation in 2007 from my position at the University of Wisconsin. I came to head up the Directorate for Education and Human Resources. And to be forthright, I share with the administrator a lifelong, personal, and abiding passion, a passion to advance education for the betterment of the nation. These roles, then, that we occupy allow us to work with reference to our passion, and this could not be a better time to act on the passion. I note, too, the statements from the President. The President has declared education to be the most important step we can take on a path to excellence, and it is excellence that must prevail. The federal agencies, individually and collectively, have made significant strides. We are challenged, of course, by the very decentralized character of education in the United States, something my colleague Michael Locke certainly knows all too well. Our colleagues from abroad, for example, are often surprised that we have no national body that sets a curriculum for science and mathematics in our country. Without a doubt, the constitutional responsibility for maintaining and operating school systems lies with states and localities. But here is a part of the encouragement for all of us associated with the federal agencies. Our federal agencies have capabilities, missions, resources that can help students, teachers, and others excel in STEM subjects and thereby strengthen our nation's workforce and the economy. That is what drives us with our passion and commitment. The National Science Foundation supports a number of activities, a comprehensive education program, for example, that's designed to improve all sectors of STEM education, from pre-kindergarten through postgraduate preparation across all fields of science and engineering. This activity includes support for research targeted to exemplary teaching and learning, and support for informal learning outside of the classroom. For after all, people spend more time outside than within classrooms. There are at least 1,500 institutions in the United States whose mission is to promote informal science learning. These include science museums, zoos, aquariums, botanical gardens, and so much of what NASA itself undertakes for the informal arena. These institutions are natural allies in the quest for excellence. And we should, and I hope we do, take pride in the attention that federal departments and agencies give to these kinds of institutions. But for whatever we do, the hallmark must be excellence. It must be that we use rigorous criteria as we invest federal dollars for research, for all of the activities we undertake. Let us, and I would say this is our commitment, let us together continue to ensure that our investments support excellence. After all, we are stewards of federal monies, of the public's monies, and the public should expect nothing less from us than this commitment to excellence. The learning, and that's very much what we're all concerned about, that learning must be rigorous. It must be rigorous if our nation is to remain central in an ever more technologically advanced world. So I firmly believe that to cultivate and enhance our nation's reputation as a scientifically and technologically literate nation, we must be effective. We must be effective, especially in the teaching of science and mathematics. In addition, we must be more inclusive. We must never again construe STEM education as elitist or exclusive. It must be inclusive if we are to succeed as individuals and as a nation. We've seen in our nation's recent past the unhappy results of what happens when there was less than a commitment to full inclusion. Let us not return to those times. The Obama administration, as you will probably hear more about momentarily, has launched the Education to Innovate initiative. This is one step in the right direction, engaging teachers, parents, students, engineers, scientists, private foundations, anybody you can think of, being asked to come to the table with reference to this common goal of increasing the scientific literacy, expanding education and career opportunities, and ensuring that no one is left out of this movement. So let me state as plainly as I can, without a strong, coordinated effort by the federal agencies, National Science Foundation, NASA, NOAA, the Department of Education, without this coordinated effort to provide STEM education leadership, expertise, we as a nation will decline precipitously. In the very near term, we may lose a hard-won and proudly protected scientific edge in an increasingly competitive world. We may lose that if we look at some of the trends that are not terribly encouraging. But we don't have to lose that edge. We've come a long way, and together we will continue to make strides. You know, I need not repeat for you the disturbing kinds of news, the news that will show that U.S. students on international assessments are below average in science and math literacy compared with students from other nations. Can we afford such mediocrity? No. This is our deep principle that we are committed to, of the principle of excellence. But our commitment, our challenge rests in doing more than simply raising test scores. That's not what we're talking about. There has to be inspiration, inspiring the current and future generations to regard science and engineering as windows on the puzzles which surround us, and which these activities become means for sparking innovation. So we are here during this summit to discuss the best uses of federal resources for achieving our shared goals. Thank you, NASA, for assembling us and for setting a model before us, the model of the One-Stop Shopping Initiative. But thank you to all of you who've come this evening. For you're assembled for a commitment. Your presence attests to this commitment. It says, we will not shrink from the challenges before us, but we will use all of our ingenuity to meet them. So I thank NASA for the leadership provided, but I also want to acknowledge the role that all of you, your presence signals, and the activities that will be undertaken together. Thank you for the opportunity.